Hey everybody, welcome back to our super exciting Art of War detachment review. Today we're talking about my favorite detachment of all time. This is the Nightmare Hunt. And if you couldn't guess, this is Battle Shocks. Battle Shock City.
Nick loves his Battle Shocks. Whether those Battle Shocks do anything doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Now they do things.
Now they do things.
Okay, this is like how the Space Marine detachments are all getting their new versions, which are the same detachment as before, but it's a little bit reskinned. Same thing. This is new and improved Dread Talons. The problem with Dread Talons before is that we could Battle Shock our opponent and then nothing happened. Now we're going to Battle Shock our opponent, we're going to table them.
That's a big promise you got there.
I'm going to back it up.
You're going to Battle Shock your opponent and then they're going to get tabled.
You're going to be Battle Shocked by the end of this.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then you're going to table me.
You're getting table jack.
Oh no.
We are in the middle of our Grotma celebration where we're doing all kinds of different detachment reviews as long as UW keeps coming up with these detachments, and it's going to keep being awesome. So you can get a piece of this action by subscribing right now. Click that button, like the video, and then at the end of it all, leave a comment letting us know what you think. It really helps us grow our channel and also helps you pass your Battle Shocks.
That's right. If you don't comment, you will not pass a Battle Shock.
And then you're going to get tabled.
That's bad. Don't do that.
You don't want to get tabled.
You don't want to get tabled.
Only Jack likes getting tabled.
I'm just into it, man. I'm just a sicko, you know? I'm just table me harder.
I know.
Yeah.
So tell me about this detachment, Jack.
Okay, so we are hunting nightmares out here, and we're hunting nightmares with a detachment rule called Terror Made Manifest. In the Battle Shock step of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit that is below its starting strength is within 12 inches of one of your units, that enemy unit must take a Battle Shock test at -1. Enemy units affected by this detachment rule do not need to take any other Battle Shock tests in the same phase. Each time a Heretic Astartes model from your army makes an attack that targets a unit below half strength, always my favorite targets to fight, add 1 to the hit roll. Each time an attack targets a Heretic Astartes unit from your army, if the attacking model is Battle Shocked, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And then every time one of your models from your army makes an attack that targets a Battle Shocked unit, add 1 to the wound roll. So, just to recenter, right? If you target a unit below half strength, +1 to hit. If that unit is Battle Shocked, +1 to wound. And if a Battle Shocked unit is trying to target you in shooting or the fight phase, -1 to hit.
Yeah. And just for clarity, you do not have to be below half strength to trigger the +1 to wound. If you're Battle Shocked at all, you're getting +1 to wounded.
That's right. And there are ways to force Battle Shock checks in this army, I would assume.
Yeah, especially if you're below starting strength, you're -1. If you're nearby a Chaos Space Marine dude. So we're just going to start chipping you up all over the place, and then you're going to be taking Battle Shocks forever.
That's right. That's right. I don't want that because then you get tabled.
+1 to wound is a great rule, Jack. It's a little bit conditional, but we're going to get those conditions back.
A little bit conditional?
Look, you're going to be scared.
Okay.
You're going to be shocked. You're going to be babbled.
I do love a detachment rule that reads, in your opponent's command phase, they roll 2 dice, and then nothing happens.
Or they roll a 7 or less on those 2 dice, and then they're Battle Shocked, and then they're OC 0. They can't use stratagems. They can't perform actions. Your army is +1 to wound them. That's a great detachment rule.
And you're potentially -1 to be hit from them.
And you're -1 to be hit. Dude, imagine a detachment rule that says your enemy opponent over there, their models don't hold objectives, can't do actions, can't play Warhammer with stratagems, and they're -1 to hit you, and you're +1 to wound them. That's an awesome detachment rule. That's too good.
Asterisk.
That's what it would be too good, so you have to make them roll 2 dice and hope they roll low first. But we're going to make them roll a lot of dice.
Stop it. I mean, that's the way to do Battle Shocks, right? Just make them take more.
Yeah, that's right.
First up on the enhancements list, we got the Gray Veil Hex. Chaos Lord only. Models in the Bearers unit have stealth. While the Bearers unit is within range of 1 or more objective markers you control, you get mini load op. You can only be targeted by ranged attacks more than 18 inches away.
This is fine. Fine with the capital F.
It's okay with a capital O.
Whatever. This is an enhancement.
It is an enhancement. It doesn't even stack with a detachment.
It has nothing to do with Battle Shocks. Has nothing to do with me.
Warp fueled thrusters. That's what they called me in high school, actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Chaos Lord jump pack model only. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, if the Bearers unit is not within engage range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove the Bearers unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves.
Okay. Up and down for a Chaos Lord is somewhat useful. He can join some Raptors, and that unit is kind of overpriced and doesn't do that much, but this will synergize with Battle Shocks later, so it's probably worth the living.
Okay. Terror Glut Parasite. Awesome name. Heretic Asari's Maul only. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engaged range of the bearer must take a battle shock check, subtracting 1 from the result. Not as good as Dante, because nobody's as good as Dante.
This is not about Blood Angels. Go away. We're talking about combat phase, battle shocks, -1. You know the best time to battle shock your opponent? Right when they want to use stratagems, like -1 damage or interrupt or anything like that. No. And now you're -1 to hit, and I'm +1 wound, and you're getting table.
Yes, so what's very nice about this is your opponent can't make any plans. If they charge into this unit, they might just have to compensate for the fact that they're not getting any strats. Then they're -1 to hit. They're +1 to wound on the crackback. Yeah, it gets very bad. And then also, if it happens on their turn as they charge you, you know their battle shots going into your turn, which means they can't interrupt, they can't use defensive strats, they can't fight on death or do anything, they can't blood surge. Nothing.
And you can like set this up with heroic interventions to make someone take a battle shock that they weren't expecting to take, and then their whole plan falls flat. When they're, especially if they're using a stratagem to boost their offense, and then all of a sudden they can't use a strat and they're -1 to hit, they went from doing whatever they thought they were going to do to probably doing nothing really at all.
Listen, Dante, his +1 to hit.
Why do we keep bringing up Dante?
Because I have personal experience with battle shocks. Shush. Speak when spoken to. Okay, Dante, his +1 to hit does not make a big difference with Sanguinary Guard because they're already hit on 2s. But I still include him in my list, partially because his battle shock check at the start of the fight phase at -1 is really, really, really good. And this, I think, is very similar.
It is very similar. It is really good. I'm glad that somehow that worked back to Chaos is awesome. Now, no more Dante talk out of you.
That's not how this works. Sorrow Scent Vulture. What a great name. Chaos Lord Jump Pack Maul only. Mauls in the Bear's unit have Scout 6, and he can join Warp Talons. This is incredible, regardless of whatever the heck Nick is about to say.
Is it because a Chaos Lord can join Warp Talons?
Because you give Warp Talons Scout 6, and there's a Chaos Lord, and they're giving them free strats, and then they ball out of control because that unit is actually really good.
Chaos Lords and Warp Talons have been such a thing. If you're not a real CSM player, but let me tell you, as the one true god over here of CSM, hey, you heard me. The Chaos Lord.
My world leaders are going to have some real things to say to you next time we play.
Yeah, you're invited into the castle.
I'm going to on a storm the castle and burn it down.
You pay rent over here. My Chaos Lord with Jump Pack joins the Warp Talons. And it's wonderful because he could never do that before. You can't just do that, Jack. Imagine having your jump captain, lord in Space Marines, captain of the Imperium over here, who can't join anybody. He can only join basic assault Marines that are legends. You can only join those guys. That's what it says in my Chaos Space Marine Codex. But now I can pay points to get my Chaos Lord to join my Warp Talons, and I will. Because, like you said, Scout is good, but even better, free rapid ingress. We ballin'. And he gives them the grenade keyword.
That is 5 extra CP, or 4 generally, over the course of the game. Because you scout up, gives you a good charge turn 1, you pick something off, you go into reserves, also gives you another model in that unit who can hit in combat.
With a Power Fist, you're
actually quite important.
Yeah, you do have a trouble versus tanks and stuff, and he does help with that.
He does help with that, or he helps finish off like Marines and stuff like that. And then you hop off, and then you free strat rapid ingress back in. Hooking.
This is going to be an auto-take in this detachment.
Yes.
This man was a 10-man. I'm not a big 10-man Warp Talon.
I was prepared because you, yesterday even, were telling me some Warp Talon anti-Warp Talon propaganda.
No,
because of your bio game or whatever.
That's not what happened. What really happened is that I said in this detachment, the Chaos Lord with Jump Pack is auto-include with 10 Warp Talons because it's the Nightlords.
That's right. Okay, so yeah.
You just misheard me.
Got it. Okay, well, good to know we're on the same page then. Warp Talons in 10-man's super good.
Yeah, especially with the Chaos Lord attack.
Especially the Chaos Lord, but even without, you know?
But really with the Chaos.
But without, it's also really good though.
What about those stratagems?
First up, we got Talons Sunk Deep. All right, every one of these stratagems is going to be 1 CP. This one, same as the rest. We got Shooting Phase or the Fight Phase, 1 infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time all in your unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked and or below half strength, +1 AP.
Okay, so if you're battle shocked, you know we're already +1 to wound.
Right.
And now we're +1 to wound, +1 AP. Am I playing Space Marines or am I playing Chaos Space Marines?
You're definitely playing Chaos Space Marines because there's a battle shock before you get to use it.
All right, well, we can't all be Vitreous Guard with Calgar, but we are cooking because now when you're battle shocked, we can actually do damage.
That's very good. AP3 Warp Talons?
AP3 Warp Talons. AP3 Warp Talons with +1 to wound, twin linked. Jack, we're actually going to kill stuff.
It's crazy. I didn't know they let you have that.
We can get AP4 Warp Talons if we use the Terminator Sorcerer.
You won't do that.
I will. And you've come at me now, Vitreous Guard. AP 4 Twin Link +1 to wound.
Still won't kill them.
-1 to wound that.
Okay, you actually probably will.
Or actually probably will, right? And we actually probably will kill the Vitreous Guard. Now we're talking a good unit.
That's a good unit. That's a good unit. We got Prey on the Weak, 1 CP. In your shooting phase or the fight phase, you pick an infantry unit from your army that has not been selected yet. Until the end of the phase, every time a modern unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked and or below half strength, wow, you can reroll the hit roll. You spend a CP to reroll hits. You're already +1 to wound.
Playing
You're +1 AP.
Reroll hits, +1 to wound, extra AP. The only thing is that they just choose to do it, and we do it to everybody who's battle shocked.
Anybody who's battle shocked.
Anybody who's
Not everybody, anybody.
Everybody's +1 to wound.
Yeah, you got it.
This is great. Look, causing battle shocks has not been Chaos's problem. Getting something to happen when they fail those battle shocks has been the problem. I'm telling you, we solved the issue.
All right, we got 4 more strats to go.
We don't even need them.
We don't even. I'll tell GW take what?
No.
I'll take. If you don't want them, man, I'll just take them. No more.
I appreciate those strats. You can leave them here.
All right, 1 CP Sadistic Display. Fight phase, just after a Heretic Astartes unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, every enemy unit within 6 inches and visible to your unit must take a battle shock test other than monsters and evils.
So let me get this straight. The War Talons look at the Chaos Sword, they scout, they turn one, they charge your stupid little 5-man whatever unit, and then not only do they kill it, triggering my loop-de-loop with free ingress from my Chaos Lord, but also everybody nearby take battle shocks +1 to wound.
Which matters in the fight phase.
Okay, you might not want to use this strat in that exact scenario, but you could.
Right. It matters if you're setting up a big attack. For example, the first one to activate can trigger battle shocks and potentially shut some things off, which would be very helpful. In a skirmish game, not going to matter very much. Yeah. But so I actually played with almost exactly this strat. World Eater Index had this stratagem in it. I've never used it. I've never wanted to use it. It's never come up.
But your army doesn't trigger on failing battle shocks.
Right. It just has rules.
Mine does too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, spend a CP. Maybe you'll even trigger them.
So I think the real use for this strat is if your opponent is charging you and you get a nice cheeky kill in your opponent's turn because they have some suicidal unit or you got a good interrupt off or something. And then if you can get them to be battle shocked in their own turn, because it's another opportunity to fail, then you go into your turn attacking all these battle shocked units and then +1 to wound, rerolling hits, extra AP, good night.
Yep, and then at that point, you have the information going into your movement phase. You can set up all your plays knowing who is battle shocked and who is not battle shocked. It's actually quite a huge deal. Otherwise, you can charge in with a 10-man Warp Talon, kill the first thing, be ready to hop away later, but pulse the battle shock check to hopefully disrupt some,
It's 6 inches from your own CSM unit, so a nice 10-man Talon unit that's spread out a little, that can cause quite the aura.
Yes, it can. Now, it's just a battle shock check, not at -1, so you are just hoping that they fail. But if they do, it can be a big deal.
I've played against Tyranids a bunch of times. Hope is a plan.
That if you force enough battle shock checks.
That's right, dude.
Very possible.
Every time the Nerd Elector tells me to take a battle shock, I feel some sort of anxiety deep within.
Yes. you get it. Yeah, no, I get it. I was going to elaborate, but I feel like it speaks for itself. 1 CP Malicious Surge in your charge phase. 1 Heretic Astartes infantry unit. Until the end of the phase, your unit is able to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. What great stratagem.
The advance and charge. We're playing Space Marines, but with spikes.
Why do you want to be Space Marines? I thought you hated that army.
I'm just glad that we're getting equal treatment. This is what equal treatment looks like.
Right. Why are you talking like you're not a Space Marine player? You've played 18 Victrix Guard.
I play Chaos Space Marines.
Right. And 18 Victrix Guard. 20
I conducted
Victrix
science
Guards.
with that.
With that?
I was conducting science.
You're conducting science, so you're not going to play it to LVTT?
Absolutely not. I'm playing this. What's the next stratagem?
Relentless Terror, 1 CP in your movement phase just after a Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army falls back. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back.
For the low
Really good
cost of all of my command points, I can be Gladius.
Sure.
But the fallback shoot and charge is really good.
It's very good.
It is really good.
Very good. Honestly, legitimately, this is the reason why I like Angelic Inheritors so much. Barak on Blood Angels, by the way. Is because you just have fallback, shoot, and charge on your whole army all the time. It's a very powerful rule. You get on 1 unit for a CP. That's also neat.
Look, I really like just pocket advance and charge, pocket fall back and do stuff. It smooths over all of those wrinkles that just happen in Warhammer.
Oops, I didn't kill something. Yeah. Oops, it's a little far away.
Oh no, a rhino bumped into me.
Yep. And advance and charge makes your opponent pre-measure a lot further away. Or the fact that you can fall back and charge makes them not go for plays to try to tie you up. which are very real, especially if your opponent is like also playing a melee army. They will know, as a melee army, the best way to deal with that is just tie their units up so they can't act on their turn.
Absolutely. Dude, scouting the warp towns, then advancing and charging the warp towns, you're charging deep into their deployment zone top one.
Yep, you're scooping something and disappearing into the ether to come back again next turn. What a good unit. Maybe you even include 3.
Dude, 30 warp towns. What a new meta.
That goes kind of hard.
It was pretty hard.
Goes pretty hard.
You could always be ingressing.
That is true. ABI. Last stratagem here, we got Horrific Incursion for a CP in your movement phase. 1 Heretic Astartes unit from your army that arrived from reserves this turn. You select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches, not a monster or a vehicle, and visible to you, and it takes a Battleshock check at -1.
So add it to the pile. But here's how you trigger it. You take that Chaos Lord I mentioned earlier. You get the up and down enhancement. Join to the Raptors. The Raptors also give you a -1 battle shock leadership thing, but it was only 6 inches, so not the most synergistic.
It doesn't. How does that even?
But
how does that work? It's a 6-inch.
Yeah, like if you're fighting combat or something.
Oh,
but more important.
Right. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
There's a little sidebar.
Yeah.
The Lord joins the Raptors up and down. The Raptors do a free strat.
Okay, you can only do 1 free strat in a turn, and you got free rapid.
This is different build than the 30 warp towns.
If this is a different build than the 10-man unit of warp towns with the Lord, I'm going to have a talk with you about taking Raptors with a Lord so you can trigger 1 battle shock check every turn by being 12 inches away from them. Deep striking.
Just because I have to jump through a lot of hoops to get my rules to work so that maybe I can be +1 to wound does not make this.
My first read through, I thought this was every unit within 12. And I was like, what an okay strat.
It would be okay at that point. It would.
1 CP, take a check, but only right now.
But we're not even factoring demons.
This is when you arrive from reserves. That's after everything else has moved.
If we ally in demons, we can cause a lot more battle shocks.
Okay, incredible. What spectacular showstopper units are we including here?
Okay, I'm not going to go through the entire. I am going to go through the entire.
You are going to go through the entire list.
So we could do Skull Cannon.
You could do Skull.
We could do Sloppy Bile Piper. We can do the Change Caster.
So good.
But I think the one we're actually going to look at a little bit more seriously is Demonettes.
Seriously is how we're going to look at Demonettes?
For the low cost of, I believe, 90 points, you get 10 OC2 dudes.
Okay.
10. Yeah, it's a great place to start.
It's a great place to start.
They have 3 attacks each with Devlin, so pocket sand. And then on top of that, they fight first. So that's a good rule.
That's good.
And most importantly,
units fight first.
They are a good unit, Jack. And then on top of that, at the start of the fight phase, if you're engaged with a Demonette, guess what happens?
You take a battle shock.
We take a battle shock attack. So we heroic the Demonette, we fight first the Demonette, we cause a battle shock to the Demonette, we get +1 to wound with the CSM. You're -1 to hit against my Demonettes. I stole an objective because you're OC0, and I won the game. You're tabled.
Okay, it's actually 100 points, Nick.
Okay, it's 100 points. It's 100 points. I'm sorry.
And it is T3 1 wound to the 5 of Pinval.
I didn't try to misquote that.
you didn't quote it at all. But that is what it is, right? It's fine, even.
Look, I'm not saying that it's the easiest army to use because you do have to get them below starting strength to even start triggering the battle shocks, and then the Demonettes can help, but they're not going to solve the world's problems. I think if you're going to make this detachment try to work, I do think you want some sort of early sort of missile type unit that can just go in there and do chip damage to 5 things. You're not really trying to kill anything with it. Maybe jail your opponent a little, make them deal with it in return. And then if you can hit a couple guys here, a couple guys there, a couple guys here, a couple guys there, and really mess up a little bit of stuff, you can make everything a little bit below starting strength for the rest of the game. And then
maybe they'll even fail some battle shock checks.
And then if they fail the battle shocks, you can apply all your good rules. And if they don't, you still are playing CSM, so you're sustained in lethal. Or lethal.
We'll take a helper.
You could take a hell brute. You really could.
Won't do that. It's definitely better than the old detachment that is so not seen. I don't even remember that. Dread Talons?
Dread Talons.
It is significantly better than Dread Talons. That being said, battle shocking and then having conditions to what happens to units that are battle shocked.
It's not the most reliable.
It's not the most reliable. And also the fact that battle shock clears in your opponent's command phase means the timing can get really weird. So like if you do it on your turn, especially after your movement phase, you might not be positioned to capitalize on it, and then they just unbattle shock in their turn.
I think the way this army wants to run is like tons of small units running around that all like have an amount of damage in them, like Legionnaire squads with 2 heavy melee weapons and mirror wounds. It can add.
It's a good unit. That is an unironically just a good.
Some of those, like other good units CSM have, like Chosen, like Master of Executions joined the squads to make them hit a little bit harder. Bikes, Raptors, these things have melta guns and plasma guns and power fist. It can just add up. And then you have lots of those, and you have your 10-man Warp Talon unit, and you're just trying to do like a lot of skirmish Warhammer all around the table. And you're probably not usually going to kill people like this, because that's like not the best approach to killing people. But if you can force endless battle shocks, because every command phase rolls around, they have to take a test of -1, take a test of -1, take a test of -1, you might actually get somewhere with it.
Possibly, very possibly. I will say there are 2 rules in this detachment that take effect if your opponent is not battle shocked.
Yeah.
Advance and charge and fall back and charge, which is good.
There's also, if they're below 50% strength, then you are always +1 to hit them.
I too need assistance killing little children and babies.
Dude, sometimes
Post up.
Sometimes you need help killing like 2 wardens and a blade captain.
Nope,
Out
that's
of the
not
first pair of war students are dead.
That's not below half.
That's below half.
Nope. It's a 6 model unit.
There's a character.
Right. It's a 5 model unit plus a character.
No, 6 model.
So if it's 1
We're in
unit,
good antic now. So anyway, sometimes you need help, and I'm not going to say no to help.
I suppose below half strength is kind of the wrong time to get damage buffs.
It's not
because it is an opponent clinging to life. It's like you only get a buff when you fight people on respirators, right? Like it's just, you're probably not going to need help there,
If I recall last Grotmas, there were some detachments that were awesome, like Star Shatter and Final Day, and some detachments that were never seen again. And this might fall in the latter category, but I promise you, we will get this on stream at least once, because my God, are the battle shocks broken.
Listen, I will say, 1 CP advance charge, advance and charge, and 1 CP fallback shoot and charge are good rules. And that 10-man squad with Scout 6 and a Lord, good unit.
Yeah, absolutely. There are good things in this detachment. I think the worst part about it is that it's all tethered to battle shocks and it's a little conditional, hard to set up. Definitely
That's what you like about it.
But that's what I like about it, right? This is about playing the game you want to play the way you want to play it. There's lots of ways to play Warhammer. If you want to scare your opponent like it's Halloween and you want to kill them after they're scared, this is how you do it.
This is how you do it. I mean, it's not like CSM don't have a glut of other detachments they can take, right?
They're all bad.
If they're all bad compared to this Nightmare Hunt.
Dude, I'm hunting your nightmares. You're going to see me in your sleep.
You're Freddy Krueger right now, especially with the claw gloves. Dude, you're gonna, okay, well that's, all right, now I am scared. I have officially failed my battle shock.
Are you ready to hear first, folks? My army's +1 to Moonjack.
That's unfortunate. You're just sitting there throwing warp talents at my face. +1 to wound. +1 to wound. +1 to wound. +1 to wound. They are very good.
Which Wendling +1 to wound is a good rule.
I also might be underestimating just how many battle shock checks you can put out, because if half your army at any point in time is battle shocked, that is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, right? Like, I think we're underselling how bad it is when you are battle shocked. That can be game changing right there on its own.
And they will fail fully, some of them. Fully even a couple of them.
Look, maybe across a 5-round tournament, you have one of those games where your opponent passes every battle shock. You're like, man, my army didn't arm me today. And that's going to feel bad. I'm sorry. But for every 5-round tournament, you're going to have one of those games where they fail every battle shock.
And they're going to be like, my army didn't arm me. And the rest's going to be so excited for that.
So, if you want to learn how to army your army, you should check out the War Room. That's where we're going to be using the battle shocks.
Dude, you're going to be that meme of the guy giving up right before he hits diamonds. It just says failed battle shock checks on the other side. You're like, no.
I will add more tests into Marcus. Every way they could take a battle shock, I've got 3 of them.
90% of CSM players give up before their opponent fails battle shock checks.
They haven't considered the skull cannon.
They haven't considered that, and they really shouldn't.
Maybe. New detachments require a new perspective,
I don't want a perspective that tells me to take skull can.
Well, what kind of corn player are you?
Hey, listen, I play the units that kill my opponent in combat.
Yeah.
Like corn and also Forge Fiends, those two.
The Forge Fiends intended.
Yeah, the Forge Fiends are intended.
Right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this review, everybody. We had a blast talking about battle shocks. At least I did. Jack's still shaking in the corner over there. But yeah, let us know what you think. Leave a comment letting us know if you have any exciting ideas for how you can make this wonderful Nightmare Hunt detachment work. I would love to hear them. I will try them. I'm so excited.
I know you are.
Drop a like, subscribe. We're doing more Grotmus detachments every single day. And check out the warroom.bhx.tv for your 3-day free trial of all of our wonderful Warroom content, where we're doing list breakdowns and games with all these wonderful new rules coming out.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.